Thank you. Okay, what we're going to next bring up Catherine Cadden, but she is in Bali and fell ill. So Catherine is a mom, educator, storyteller, dancer with over 30 years of experience. She brings innovative programs into nonviolence, mindfulness, and conflict transformation to people from ages 6 and on and over continents. So today, her partner Jesse sent us a recording sharing on empathy movement and first responders.
Welcome, everyone, to this session on empathy first responders. My name is Jesse Weens Chu,
And I'm Reena Janwala from India.
and I'm living in Indonesia right now as well, and but originally, of course, from the United States. So, in today's session, what we wanted to do was introduce you to the idea of empathy first responders, share some examples of what that can look like, and give you some specific practices of how you could implement being an empathy first responder in your own life. The first moment I remember this term coming into existence was when I was with my wife, Catherine Cadden, and we were in Maui. And she tells the story much better than I could. So I recommend, if you want the detailed story, to check out her TEDx talk on direct action in love, where she shares the story in more detail. But the short version is we were driving in Maui, Hawaii, and we came across a scene where a couple had just hit a pedestrian on the road, and the woman was on laying on the road, and the couple was in a fair bit of shock, sitting in their car with their windshield shattered. And at that time, my wife Catherine jumped out of the car that we were in and invited us all to help. We were with a couple of friends, and we went, and she immediately, after doing a quick assessment of the condition of the person who was hit and recognizing that medical first responders were on the way to attend to the woman, she immediately made an empathic connection with the couple driving the car, because there were actually people from the park above shouting angry words at the couple. They were getting a lot of blame and judgment from the people who were upset about them hitting the pedestrian. And the couple in the car looked frozen and terrified. And so Catherine just began to connect with them, offering them compassion, saying things like, "I'm guessing this wasn't how you expected your day to go.
Hmm.
I'm guessing it's really scary when that happened. And I'm guessing," and then she made some other guesses. And you could see as she made those guesses, the couple started to soften and be able to access their words, their tears. And where the term empathy first responder came about was when the medical first responders did show up on the scene. In addition to Catherine sharing with them what she could recognize immediately from her own medical first responder experience, she also shared with them, and she introduced the couple to the medical first responders and said, and they also are in shock and could use some electrolytes. And what she said, sorry, I forgot the key piece there. She said, "Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm an empathy first responder." And this couple was in shock and they could use some electrolytes also. So that was the first time I heard that term being spoken. And what Catherine did in that moment, which we want to talk about in this session, and that any one of you can do, is bring that basic level of human compassion and care to any situation, even situations that may seem like only a situation for physical first responders.
Yeah, I really appreciate that term, Jesse, that Catherine coined in that moment. Empathy as a key component in that moment of uh, crisis, and which puts us, in all of us who even observe something like that, into survival mode. So, our fight, flight, freeze response, I mean, reactions are very active. And then empathy is a key kind of, piece there where the energy shifts. And then the first responder is also, I see that as like there are reactions all around. As you said, there's blame, there's fear, and self-blame as well. I'm guessing, the couple were in shock because they had hit somebody who was hurt. So self-blame, others blaming you, and then there is this response in when there are reactions all around. So that term makes a lot of sense now as I listen to you, and I'm in touch with my experiences as a empathy first responder. And as I say that yeah, I am an empathy first responder, there is some kind of vision that I'm in touch with, some sense of purpose that makes meaning, and that gives me the energy when otherwise there can be overwhelm. Because in India, there's so much happening constantly, the chaos and beauty of chaos as well. I don't mean it in a negative way, but like there is, can I give some examples?
Of course.
At the moment, I think that's where I'm leaning to that. Like I take a lot of train journeys, bus journeys. And as we're waiting at the bus stop, I remember once, um, I remember once um, a mother with two kids, and one kid tired and the other kid very active. And and then she was like, and then there's luggage to be taken care of. And I'm guessing there were other members traveling with her. But in that moment when I was sitting there, you know, what I saw was um, a family member coming with some expectations from the mother who was already overwhelmed, with one child wanting to stay put and the other wanting to go somewhere. And then this person came and said something in an angry voice, that she should be kind of she should be handling things with more responsibility. Maybe it was something around the food that she needed to give to the family, like if there was families always travel with packed food. So there was something around that. And I I saw this lady completely freezing to all these three demands on her. And as this elder person came and shouted at her about some instructions that she had missed following up on about serving food, I think I stood up to check with her if I could be there to hold the child or take the child just within her sight. So that was my first kind of response, to connect with her and the child, to be of some support, and bring in that moment some possibility for her too. And in doing that, there was a part of me which was like confused about the man. Yeah, but I kind of observed that in me and gave some self-empathy, like a deep breath, an exhale around the demands on the woman, and I just exhale, and that helped me to be more present.
Mm.
So that part, I'm so glad that I have that integrated. That
Yeah.
as an empathy self-responder, self-care in my capacity, expanding my capacity is important in the moment.
Yeah.
And then as the woman maybe trusted me to take the child to a shop just 10 feet away within her sight, I saw that that was my first kind of connection with her in empathy, silent empathy,
Mm.
to looking at her, leaning in with my body, and she kind of nodded.
Mm. Yeah, I like your example that you're bringing, and I think part of what it highlights for me is there's some simple principles and practices we can take if you would like to be an empathy first responder in your own life. And and I want to emphasize that every single one of you watching this right now can be an empathy first responder in your community, helping to create and contribute to that basic sense of human care. So, from Rena's example and from the example earlier, there's a few principles that I want to just highlight here. One is that one of the ways we can pay attention to where empathy can be needed in any given situation is where there is some sense of blame, shame, guilt. Those are very difficult feelings for any person to endure on their own. So, whether it's the person you see being targeted with blame or the person who you imagine is being the most blamed, or the person who's feeling the most guilt and shame in the moment, uh, it's a great opportunity to just turn your light of compassion towards that person, whether silently or verbally. It could be something as simple as being in line in the grocery store, seeing a mother struggling with her children, and offering, as my wife has sometimes done when she sees a situation, turning to the mother and saying, "Sometimes it's hard, isn't it?"
Yeah,
And just giving a big smile, right?
yeah,
Or saying, "You're doing great, Mama."
yeah.
It's a lot to juggle, right? Offering that moment of compassion.
Yeah, I think validating that you're doing great, Mama, or that it's all right, because we put so much pressure on ourselves in our roles as caregivers or as men or women who are supposed to, be much bigger and much more than we we consider ourselves as, So there's a lot of self-blame, self kind of judgment,
Yeah.
you know. So that's also where empathy first responders can bring ease and I guess dignity even, that it's okay.
Mm.
In this moment, you're doing the best you can, and that's a lot already.
And in conventional life,